Alright, what's up everyone? So in this video I want to break down my exact content strategy based on psychology that I developed from listening to a lot of Charlie Munger. If you don't know who Charlie Munger was, he was a multi-billionaire, vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway and business partner of Warren Buffett, and he went really deep into psychology and mental models, and that is what I'm basing my content strategy off of, and that is what I want to show you in this video. I'm going to explain what to say, when to say it, where to say it, how to post it, everything like that rooted in psychology that I got from Charlie Munger. I'm also going to be explaining why it works, and I don't want to waste your time, so let's just get straight into it. Alright, so starting this video off, I just want to say don't overcomplicate content. Like, don't look for the exact words to say and don't try to be perfect. You're always going to be much better off understanding the principles that are rooted in psychology, biology, etc., following those principles, and then everything else will fall into place. And if you don't try to be perfect, if you don't look for the exact words, that's actually going to be better for you, because you're not just going to be reading off a script. You're going to be more real. Audience is going to be able to connect with you on a deeper level, and you're still going to get all of the benefits that you would have gotten otherwise, because you are following the principles rather than tactics. Okay, so there are two main branches of psychology that I want to break down. Well, I'm not sure if they're branches of psychology, but like there are two main basically pillars to this, and each one will answer a different question in terms of your content strategy. And by the end of this video, you will have a full picture in terms of how to structure your content, or how I structure my content. Okay, and the first pillar that I want to go over, you've probably seen this in my other videos, but it's the 25 cognitive biases that we as humans have. Now, I've gone over this in other videos, but in this video I just want to make it much more in depth, and on my channel this is going to be the video for cognitive biases. On other videos I'm obviously going to mention them because they're very important, but this video is going to be the video where you actually want to learn how to utilize these, and I want to make it really actionable. So first of all, obviously the cognitive biases come from Charlie Munger, and basically what these are biases that we as humans have that influence our behavior in different ways. Okay, and out of each one of these biases we can take something to implement in our content to make it ultimately convert better, make people like us, know us, and trust us more, and then convert that attention and sell more of our stuff. Okay, so there are a bunch of biases, and I'm continuously adding to this. If you've seen one of my previous videos, then you can see that I've added a few stuff into here since the last time we saw this, but these are the basic cognitive biases that I have here, and they're probably the most important ones, so I just want to break each one of these down. Alright, so the first one is the reciprocation bias, and reciprocation is basically when you give something to someone, or you perform a favor for someone, then they want to give back to you. Okay, so this means that we should be giving a lot of value. And I know right now this sounds very, very bland, but trust me, when you get to pillar 2, this will all make sense. And I'm just explaining this right now for the purpose of pillar 2, to show you how to actually integrate this into your content for it to make it make sense. And this isn't just going to be a video where I tell you to give values, show proof. Okay, it's going to be something more in depth. And then you have the social influence bias, which is, as I said, show proof. Like, I know Daniel Fazio, if you don't know who he is I recommend checking him out, but he says that social proof is literally 80% of your entire offer. Okay, which is the most important part. So if you're not showing social proof and you have social proof, then show social proof. If you don't have social proof, then get social proof. That it should be your number one priority. And then these two biases, same actions that you do to take advantage of these two biases, you can do to take advantage of the authority bias. Okay, because when you give value, when you show social proof, you're going to be positioning yourself as the authority, and when you're the authority, people are more likely to listen to you. Then we have the liking loving tendency, which is basically that we buy from the people that we like. So we want to be likable, and the way we're likable is by being vulnerable. So we want to share our personal stories. And also affinity bias, which is basically us buying from the people that we feel similar to, that we feel are similar to us in different ways. That's why you also want to share personal stories, share personal beliefs, and ultimately the purpose of this, I know everybody talks about this a lot, but it all comes down to people liking you, trusting you, and then knowing you. Okay, but the way we do this is, instead of winging it, we're actually going to do this by it being rooted in psychology and make sure we hit every single point the best we can. And then we have the confirmation bias, which is basically that we're more likely to listen to information, and our brain seeks information that we already agree with. Okay, which is basically why we want to be sharing our personal beliefs, because people are going to seek out that, and it's going to make them trust us, like us, and know us more. And then we want to use this in our belief shifting strategy. I don't have my belief shifting strategy here. I have it definitely somewhere. Alright, so this is the belief shifting framework, and basically, as you can see here, what we do first is we acknowledge the belief, okay, which is the confirmation bias. And the whole point of this is that if we acknowledge their belief, we literally say the words that are their current beliefs, then they're more likely to listen to us, because we are already saying the stuff that they already agree with. Whereas if we just went in breaking the belief and saying that everything they've believed so far is wrong, they're not going to listen, because their brain is seeking out the behavior that is in line with their current beliefs. Okay, this I'm not going to break it down. I break it down, and it feels like literally every single video that I do, but it's worth knowing. And that is definitely the framework that you're going to want to follow if you're going to be breaking beliefs, which once again, you should be doing. Okay, and then the last bias that I have here is to stimulate the neocortex. Okay, and this is basically the part of the brain, I'm also going to go into it here, but this is basically the part of the brain that gets stimulated when we hear something new Okay. So what we want to be doing is we want to be using different words to everybody else. Okay, positioning ourselves as the complete opposite to what everybody else is doing, because that way we're not going to be seen as a commodity. We're going to be seen as different, and different is interesting, and interesting is, people are going to be curious to see what you're all about. So we're going to watch your stuff. And that is what we ultimately want, right? Because that's going to lead to sales. And if you're not doing this right now, this is why you are being commoditized. Okay, if you are, let's say, a fitness coach, I talked to one of my friends who's a fitness coach who is struggling with this. He is literally, like very, very commoditized, which is a problem because he is saying the same stuff that all the other fitness coaches are saying, and he's not positioning himself as unique or different. So people are just seeing him as a commodity, asking him for his prices, and he's, forced to deal with broke people. Whereas if, like, what I was teaching him on a call that we had was that he has to position himself as completely different and new, as a new opportunity, okay, for the people to actually see the value, and then to ultimately attract the upper end of the market as well, which are going to be the people that are going to be best to work with, and they're going to also spend the most. All right, so here basically you have literally, I think this was overwhelming, but there are 6 things that you can actively implement in your content right now. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. Basically, like, if you're not giving value, give value. If you're not showing all of the social proof that you have, show more social proof. I need to start doing this more. Share your personal stories. I need to start doing this more. Belief shifting strategy. Use that belief shifting strategy. It's going to be in some of my other videos, but basically beware of the confirmation bias and that people seek out information that they already believe. So like, share your personal beliefs too. This is becoming a mess. Share your personal beliefs too, because people are going to resonate with that and they're going to start knowing you, liking you, and trusting you more. And then for the neocortex, you're just going to use different words to everybody else, okay? Like, have your own name for your unique mechanism, have your unique wording and your unique overall style, right? Because that is going to make people perceive you as new. Okay, don't try to blend in with everybody else. When everybody zigs, you zag. You've probably heard that saying before, okay? And that is super, super true, because when everybody zigs and you also zig, then the leader of that zig, the first person who zigged, is going to get all the money, everybody else is going to be broke. So you want to create your own path, carve out your own path, and that way you're going to stop actually being commodity and actually be able to charge more money, okay? Which is like the first pillar of what we do with all of our clients, is basically, dialing their content for them. But a main part of that is just helping them stimulate the neocortex, because that is why their ads aren't working. That is literally the root of all their problems, okay? And I genuinely believe this, okay, because I faced this too. Okay, and then once you actually implement all of this and you start doing these stuff and taking advantage of these human biases, right? Then if you take advantage of multiple of these, I don't know, I think Charlie Munger said like 3 or 4 at a time, then what you get what's called the Lollapalooza effect. And the Lollapalooza effect is an extreme outcome. That is literally the definition, okay? But here, I'm just going to read this definition because it's the easiest for me to explain it that way rather than trying to come up with my own definition. The Lollapalooza effects occur when there are multiple forces or factors moving in the same direction, okay? And the key is that when forces combine, they don't just add up. Each force builds off of and strengthens the other, creating an explosive effect with huge results. Okay, so if that doesn't make any sense, don't worry, it didn't make sense to me too. But basically, like, if you use this, you use all of these at once, it's going to create an effect to where it's extremely likely for the people to start loving you, liking you, trusting you, and knowing you, and they're ultimately going to end up buying from you if that is the case, which is why you want to integrate these at the same time to get that Lollapalooza effect. So literally, I just gave you the key actions that you should do in your content strategy. Okay, like, these are literally the 6. If you just focus on these, you are going to be ahead of 99.9% of people. Like, I'm not implementing all of these. I'm literally working on that right now. I'm just trying to really align myself to these biases. And I'm also, like, yesterday, I've been building out this second pillar for this. And I'm going to be basing my entire content strategy off of the second pillar too. So I just want to show you that really quickly, because this is going to be how you actually implement all of this into your content, all right? And this is very, very interesting. I don't hear anybody talking about this because people just sell you tactics. But if you're willing to listen, I want to show you something that's rooted in biology, psychology, and I want to actually teach you the principles of business so that you can make decisions on your own that make sense, instead of just relying on somebody to give you another shiny tactic that isn't going to work anyway if you don't have the principles. All right, so how do you implement this? So we're going into brain structure, and I know this may sound boring, but I'm going to try and make it really interesting for you. So basically, this is your brain, right? And your brain has 3 parts: the reptilian, which is your dinosaur brain, fight or flight, your instinct. Then you have your limbic brain, which is your emotional brain, or your feelings, curiosity, emotion, all that sort of stuff. And then you have your neocortex, which is your rational and thinking brain. Okay, this is everything to do with logic. And basically, every information that comes to the brain has to go through the reptilian, to the limbic, and then to the neocortex. By the way, I got this off of my friend Ashton Hunter. Check him out. He is an absolute G. Makes some really cool content. I recommend check him out. But yeah, basically, this is how each piece of information that we consume goes through. It has to go through the reptilian, through the limbic, and then to the neocortex. Okay, and the only information that goes through the reptilian is very emotional stuff, curiosity, and all that sort of stuff that's similar to that, okay? And then it reaches the limbic. Limbic, pretty much same thing. If it's not emotional, if it's not something to do with feelings, it won't go through that brain, okay? The limbic will basically cut it off, and it will never reach the neocortex, okay? Which is bad, because we want it to reach the neocortex. Because neocortex is the rational and thinking brain, and this is going to help your prospects make rational decisions. Now, emotion is stronger than logic, especially in B2C. If you're in B2C, if you're in B2B, you really have to get to neocortex. But in B2C, you may be able to get away with it. However, people are also logical, and if they don't see the logical side, you are missing out on a lot of sales. But as I said, the most important concept here is that this means that if the information that is coming through isn't based on emotion and novelty, it won't reach the neocortex, which is the rational part of the brain. Okay? So for example, I will get you 10 new clients in 30 days or you don't pay. This claim is very logical. And that means that if you start off your interaction with somebody with this very logical claim, like you're going to reach a wall. You won't be able to get past the reptilian brain. And that is why guarantees top of funnel aren't really working. Not only because everybody is doing them, but also because you're trying to start off with logic when people haven't even built any trust, any curiosity, and any emotional attachment to you. And that is because you are trying to appeal to the neocortex before bypassing the reptilian and the limbic brain. Okay, I really hope this makes sense. But basically, that means that what we want to do is we want to start off our interaction with emotion, so like curiosity, liking, reciprocity, and then we go into the logical, which is like the big in-depth value, kind of like I'm doing in this video, guarantees, statistics, okay? And Zig Ziglar, who is a very good salesman, said that people buy on emotion and justify with logic. And this is 100% true, and it's in line with what I just showed you here. So basically, in terms of implementing this, there are two main ways that we can do that, okay? And that is, one, you want to start off your ads, your content out with an emotional claim, which is going to be your hook, right? Like this is obvious, all right? But I just wanted to get that out there. That is why we hook people in, to get that emotion out of them. But also, what I want to show you is I want to show you how I'm going to structure, how I'm starting to structure my entire content strategy around this, which is the second way to implement this, which is what you've been pretty much waiting for. And I haven't heard anybody talk about this, all right? So I use two main platforms for marketing, maybe three if you count Twitter, aka X. I post like my thoughts on there and stuff, but I'm not really driving traffic to that. I'm just focused on Instagram, YouTube. Okay. Now Instagram is going to be usually where people find me due to short form content plus ads that I'm running on Instagram. So that's going to be my sort of top of funnel. Okay. If you imagine a funnel, here's Instagram, then the people are going to go down into YouTube, okay, and then they're going to pay me. That is the funnel. And also Instagram is short form content, so we can't really provide much value there, so that is going to be the top of funnel, okay? And then YouTube is going to be where the big value is, and that is going to be bottom of funnel, right? So my goal is to funnel everybody down to YouTube, because that is where the real value is, and that is where the people can build a deeper connection with me, okay? And that is where I can start getting more logical, all right? So the direction that I'm taking is I'm making Instagram, as I said, very top of funnel, okay? And since it's top of funnel, it's the first sort of interaction that people are having with me, okay? It's the reptilian and the limbic brain. So what I'm going to be focused on is I'm going to be focused on emotion, right? So I'm going to be sharing my personal stories on Instagram, building an emotional connection, showing I'm human, breaking and rebuilding beliefs, showing proof, and using different words to everybody else, okay? I mean, this is going to be like present everywhere. Most of this is going to be present everywhere, but with a main focus being on Instagram. And the reason is because this is going to appeal to the reptilian brain and to the limbic brain, okay, which is what we want to bypass to get to the neocortex. And then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using YouTube to appeal more to that logical side, after Instagram has already bypassed the emotional parts of the brain, okay? So on YouTube, I want to be giving crazy value, kind of like I'm doing this video, going into complex topics like this. Like I have not heard anybody talk about this, except for Ashton, to be fair to him. And I want to be making logical offers. So here's basically the framework that I'm using right now, right? So like reptilian brain, top of funnel ads, Instagram video hooks. In the limbic brain, okay, so the emotion, that's going to be my Instagram reels. And then some YouTube content, I'm obviously going to be building a deeper connection on YouTube. But YouTube is going to be primarily there just for that value, okay? I'm still going to be providing a lot of social proof on YouTube, obviously. And I'm going to be breaking a lot of beliefs, right? However, YouTube is going to be where the main value is going to be. And Instagram is just going to be there to drive traffic down to YouTube and to build a personal connection, and that initial connection to bypass the limbic brain, build that trust, and then take people down to the neocortex so they can make buying decisions based off of the value that I'm providing and off of the expertise that I'm showing on YouTube like this right now, okay? I really hope this makes sense, because like when I found out about this, I thought this was an absolute game changer, okay? Because I've been thinking of content strategy for a while now, and this actually made it make sense to me, okay? So like Instagram, top of the funnel, I was going to be focused on emotion, right? And just being like, hey, like this is me. I'm a real human being, okay, and then people are going to see that, they're going to be interested in me because I'm going to spark that curiosity. They're going to see the social proof I have on my Instagram, because I'm also going to have social proof on my Instagram, obviously. I'm going to be talking a bit about my business. They're going to see my bio, and then I'm going to be driving all the traffic down to YouTube. After they already emotionally trust me and they believe that I'm a real human being, they're curious about what my offering is. I'm going to be funneling down to YouTube, where I'm going to give in real value, like this video right here, and I'm going to be building an even deeper connection with them to ultimately funnel into, obviously, like, call or DM and then close, right? Okay, money. All right, cool. So if this, like, I hope this made sense to you. I also have like a cognitive biases cheat sheet here. You can literally type up cognitive biases cheat sheet on Google and you will get this. This is like all of the cognitive biases, and they all have their use cases, right? But in content, I find these to be the most relevant. Now, I'm probably going to be adding to this. This may turn into like a massive spider web soon, but right now, this is what it is. It works pretty dang well. I think it has most of what you need to have. But if you're interested, like, I recommend checking out the cognitive biases. I recommend checking out Charlie Munger. It's pretty dang awesome. But yeah, I hope you got value from this video. I hope all this made sense. If it didn't, you can DM me over on Instagram. This right here is my Instagram. Okay, so you can like ask me the question on this if you have it. I'm more than happy to answer it. If you want to learn more about what I actually do for coaches, how I literally implement all this done for you into their business, and I'll help them stand out from the competition so that they stop being a commodity using this bias primarily, but also a bunch of different stuff, obviously. Then I want to loop up a video which is going to explain what I do more in depth and the whole entire process that we are taking all of our clients through to add 20k to their bottom line. Our best result is doing it in 29 days or like 28 days, which is awesome. I go over that case study in that video, so go ahead and check it out. And yeah, apart from that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe for more free value, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.